Hello and welcome to the fourth episode of Shogun Talk. My name's Vandalus,
Name here.
Tech Ninja, and today we're joined by our closest buddy ever, and his name is K Meezy. Say hello.
What's going on?
Yes. So, how's everyone doing?
Again, I'm alive.
They don't know what again is.
Regardless, I'm alive.
Fine. K Meezy?
I had the day off today.
As we all do. It's good. It's a good day. So, for the first time ever on this episode, before we get started, we're using stingers. So, let's begin with the rumor wheel. So, the big rumor right now, which is going around, is that the Wii U is going to be ending production. And this was reported on by a Japanese magazine known as Nikkei. And from what I've read, they've actually been pretty spot on with previous Nintendo rumors, like they're being accurate. But after that was published, Nintendo came out and said they weren't cutting out production on the Wii U. Now, this has kind of been on everyone's mind because the NX is coming out this year, probably holiday season, because they're going to show it off at E3. So everyone is like kind of dead set on that the Wii U will probably just kind of die off and Nintendo will more than likely stop production on it. But Nintendo has said that they want the NX, the Wii U, the 3DS to all coexist at the same time. And it's kind of hard to imagine them doing that when so far, while Wii U sales have been, pretty subpar for...
They're stable.
I mean...
They're not getting better, but they're not...
No, they're definitely not getting better. So let's kind of give our thoughts on this. Like, what do you think?
I wouldn't be surprised if they did cut support. Production, I should say. Because Microsoft does the same thing when they launch a new console. The old generation will last about a year, 1 to 3 years after the new one, then disappears. So they stopped making the Xbox 360 around the time the Xbox One came out. So why wouldn't Microsoft cut on the production of an older console now?
Yeah, it's very true. What do you think, K-Meezy?
Over my experience with Nintendo, when something that they have good coming out, it releases, it tends to stay out for maybe about a good 2 to 3 years before they even move on to their next thing. They said that this was going to be an on-running thing, that it was going to be a while before they even thought about putting out another system, but after a year passes, they already started releasing rumors on new consoles, and I was just like, make new games first and come out with everything else before you even start talking about a new system, because a lot of people were disappointed with it, and then you had millions of people that loved it. Then like Pokken Tournament just came out not too long ago.
Yeah, it's fun.
I haven't even gotten to play it yet. I pre-ordered it, and I still gotta wait for like another paycheck or so before I even get to try it out. So, on my take right now, like lately, I've been on my PS4, like nothing but PS4. Wii U, I have not even really turned it on in like 3 months. Even though I love Nintendo, I feel like I only turn it on when people come over and we play Smash Brothers. Like, that's like a family friend type of night type of game system.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's, as much as I love games like Splatoon and Xenoblade Chronicles X, it's like, I don't know. I just haven't turned them on. Like, I've just been playing Pokken right now. I just got it. But before I got Pokken, I was literally just playing Fire Emblem Fates since it came out. And it's, I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like the Wii U doesn't have the drawback that it needs, so that once you finish a game, you put it down, put it on your shelf, let some dust build up, and eventually come back to it. But, I have a Wii U somewhere.
You don't even know where it is.
Not really. I think it's in our living room, but you see my point. It's one of those things that once it's kind of in the background, it tends to stay there for a while.
Yeah.
I've been on Rocket League on 2 different platforms more than I've been on my Wii U. Man, it's a Rocket League.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like I don't want the Wii U to die like this, because I don't know. I feel like it had I will say it had potential to be something amazing, even with the gamepad, but people don't even know how to develop for the gamepad, which is the problem. Like, when I'm playing Pokken Tournament, you know what's on the gamepad? The
Nothing.
game.
Yeah, that's kind of a problem. It's a redundant accessory for a console. I mean, you play a fighting game, I don't really need to see everything on my controller that I see on the screen. I just need to hit the buttons.
Well, the thing is, it'd be one thing if on the bottom screen you had like a move list of the character you're playing as. That would be awesome. They don't even have that option. It's just like, here's the game on the TV, and then the game's also playing on your gamepad.
Yeah, I think most developers gave up on that second screen and just said replicate main screen.
Pretty much. I don't know. Like, what?
The other thing that was pretty cool about the gamepad to me, certain games like what's that game I played? Splatoon. They have some pretty cool features with it as far as the map goes and being able to see where an enemy is at, so on and so on. Like I think the first game I played on the Wii U was Mass Effect 3, and that was really smart compared to how they use PlayStation with that game. The gamepad, you get to see the map and your enemies, and you can use your allies to place them in certain points that you can't even see when you're on the PS or PlayStation.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a bunch of other features, like, depending on the game, though. Like, Smash Brothers is basically the same thing. All you can see is either the game or the percentage of health damage-wise. But, I mean, other than that, there's really nothing else that they can do with it. I mean, there's so much more they can do with it. They're just not thinking outside of the box as everyone thought that they would.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I feel like and I say this all the time, I say it literally all the time when I talk about the gamepad, if they had gotten more 3DS developers to be on the Wii U, I feel like Wii U support wouldn't be as bad as it is right now. Because with 3DS, you're already dealing with two screens, and people have been dealing with two screens for years now with the DS line. I don't know. And to me, it feels like it makes more sense to have someone who knows how to work with two screens and bring them onto the team rather than going, all right, here you go, figure this out for yourselves. And the developers are like, what? I don't even know what to do.
Well, if you look at the timeline that came out from 2012 to now, it had games that were already on other platforms. You didn't have a whole lot of interest to draw people to it, like Mass Effect 3. Me, personally, I already played it on my Xbox 360, so I didn't want to go back on a different console and play it again without being able to import everything I've done from the last two games. Then there's the fact that some games like Batman had very little to add with that second screen. And then after that, the developers didn't really want to deal with it. Nintendo was trying to bring back all the hardcore gamers, so they got Bayonetta 2 in the first Bayonetta game, but even still, it's just not a lot. The library that they could offer was not there. I mean, one of their exclusive games was Sonic Boom. That didn't help them at all.
No, Sonic Boom was awful.
But then at the same time, because after that launch, a year later, the Xbox One and PS4 came out, and the Xbox One had a pretty bad launch in the sense of new games, but it still had games that a lot of people played. Call of Duty, Battlefield, some UFC game that actually did terribly. PS4 had the same thing. It had, 2 FPS games of the years, and a few games that people wanted to play. And then there was the backwards compatibility that came out for the Xbox One. So there's more and more stuff that helped the other two console families run that Nintendo just couldn't quite catch up with an older console.
Yeah.
Well, not older, but just inferior at this point.
Yeah. So, I don't know. For me, if they stopped production on the Wii U, it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know. I feel like it's just like a loss,
Well, it's not. At first, I was a little surprised that it was ending, but given that it's only been, I don't know, it's been 4 years, so it's not a horrible lifespan. I mean, it could have been the Virtual Boy where it came out and disappeared in a year.
True.
So.
Yeah. Well.
Another thing that I feel like there's only like a few games that they really used all the utilities in the gamepad view. Like one being Nintendo Land, which is literally the first game that came out with it.
Yeah, it was a launch game.
That had all of those different types of ways to use the gamepad. I think the favorite that everyone used was I want to say it's Luigi's Mansion, where the person used the gamepad for as the ghost when everyone else is using the TV and they can't see the ghost.
Yeah.
I mean, you got the vibration, you got the sight, the graphics are good. There's really no problems using all the button coordinations, but all around, like, each mode had something new to add to the table, and that was, I mean, that's what I liked with it. I just thought they would have, gone far beyond the imaginable, with all the features using the tablet, or I'm sorry, gamepad.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tablet with buttons.
Technically, in a sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool that they have the amiibos where you get to scan it and stuff, but that's really all there is to it. Or using it is for leveling up or unlocking hidden messages or
Weapons
trophies,
and stuff, yeah.
Weapons. I think the only other game, which is Zelda, that you get to use the gamepad for your map, your choosing your items. That's almost the same with Resident Evil, where it's basically your pocket. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, ending production wouldn't be the worst thing for Nintendo because they really wouldn't lose anything.
Yeah, if the new console comes out and it does well, they would kind of recover from that. Otherwise, they may have to step out of the home platform console lore.
Yeah, I agree. The only other thing that is also related to the Wii U, as we were talking about the NX with the rumor wheel, is the NX controllers. So,
before we start,
what?
Haha! I told you,
dude. Why you gotta do that?
So
mock me.
There was a patent that came out earlier. Was it last year? Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
That basically was a screen with two thumbsticks on the middle of them. That's pretty much what this rumored controller looks out.
I don't understand. It's not that hard. It's not a hard concept because they have the Pro controller for the Wii U. For the NX, all anyone needs, all they want is just a regular controller. Well, it's not that hard.
Don't forget, they want to make the NX that home platform you can take on the go with you, so...
This isn't how you do it. The 3DS is way better looking and much more functional and probably will not break as often as this weird oval-shaped screen with joysticks on it.
Those joysticks look painful, too.
Funny, I haven't even seen it yet. Actually, I think you did show me like a video or something like that.
Yeah.
Where it looked like it had the screen on the controller.
Oh,
actually,
no. The controller is a screen. That's all it is. The controller is a screen.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it'll be good at all. That's
no.
like iPhone.
I agree.
Yeah, with some sticks punching through the screen. That's.
It just doesn't. It doesn't look right. I mean, if this is supposed to be the on-the-go thing in quotations, it's a very poor job at that. It has no protection whatsoever. It's just a screen. I mean, what if you accidentally drop it and that thing breaks?
Well, it's probably another $70 for a new controller.
Exactly.
But at the same time, this is also does look like the patent, which is positive. That was accurate.
No, it's not positive.
I didn't say it was a positive for the game. It's just a positive of it being a legitimate leak. But that doesn't mean that they don't have more than one controller. That's
what I'm hoping for. I mean, you have no idea how upset I'll be if E3 comes around and they're like, this is the NX, and this is the NX controller, and they have no secondary controller to go with it.
I probably won't even watch that whole section. I'm usually working when this stuff comes around. I feel like, me being out in Washington, PAX comes around every year. I have yet to even really make it to one because of work, but most of the time I get all the information from you guys, so for the most part, you're like when the Wii U was coming up, you were like, bro, get on your Wii right now and watch Nintendo Direct and stuff. I was like, why? He was like, because something great's about to come out and you're going to want it. And I was like, okay. Checked it out. Pre-ordered it.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I got it the day it came out, and Smash Brothers was amazing also.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot to deal with, and the stress of even coming up with ideas and new ideas, that could really mess up your health. So it's just like, it's funny because it's like there's so many things, so many different systems, and so many different games that you can come up with. It's just making it all work into one and keeping a long success from it, with sales and making everyone happy and no problems, no breakage. That's really the key of making a successful company.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, not to say Nintendo isn't successful. I mean, they are, but I don't know. With their home consoles, they experiment too much.
Well, that's the Wii was kind of like their first real big experiment with the home console,
And it worked.
Yeah, they got their niche market, but then they wanted to get back the hardcore gamers, as they're called. With games like Fallout and Mass Effect, games that the Wii could not handle at all. So the Wii U came. It can handle a lot of those games now, but then it's still kind of outdated tech-wise because there are better consoles on the way, and they're out now, and we've got rumors of a PlayStation 4.5, and that's a whole nother topic, but they're still falling behind with that hardware, and the NX is kind of their last-ditch attempt to go, we have relevant hardware, play it, use it. So, we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see till E3 to figure out what's going on with the NX.
Did they announce where E3 is?
I mean, it's probably in the same place.
Yeah, it's usually in the same place in LA.
Oh, see, I wouldn't know.
Yeah. All right, so that ends the rumor wheel. Next up is Last Week in Gaming. All right, so the Last Week in Gaming news, that is Rocket League centered, but it starts with Rocket League, but it goes somewhere else. So apparently, one of the developers for Rocket League has figured out a way to get Rocket League players on the PS4 to play with Rocket League players on the Xbox One. And then, who was it? Was it Microsoft or Sony that approached the other?
So Rocket League came out for the Xbox One this past month. And the developers said, we want to make this game cross-platform with everyone. We've got PC and PS4 playing together, so why not get Xbox One into that mix? Microsoft said, we're cool with that. They went to Sony and went, how do you feel about cross-platform gaming? Sony's response, if the developers want to talk about it, we'll listen. That's kind of a vague answer for we really don't have an opinion yet.
Yeah. It's
still cool, though.
Oh, yeah.
I really like that idea because, for one, anybody can get anything now. Well, not now, but if it were to happen, anyone can get it now. And then, I mean, it doesn't matter really because, like, you know how, like, certain games would only come out for that platform?
Yeah.
I think it was, what was it? There's, like, so many Xbox games that was only meant for Xbox, and they wouldn't allow it to play on PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like, I think Gears of War was one of them, and then they finally made Gears of War for, for PlayStation.
No, Gears of War
at
never
one
went
point.
to PlayStation. It was Mass Effect.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Mass Effect.
Mass Effect came out for Xbox and PC first. Mass Effect 2 came out for all of them, then they went back and let PlayStation users get Mass Effect 1.
But either way, it's just like, now that I don't even have to worry about getting a whole other system just to play, online with my friends that have other platforms.
Yeah.
Well, as for that part, with Rocket League, because I have it on both PC and Xbox, the PlayStation Network and the PC Steam platform, you can't choose who you're playing with on the other platform, but it does allow you to get an option to play against more people, because with a game, you might be up against 75,000 other PC players, but there's another 80,000 people on PlayStation that you could play against. So why not just tie them all in and get good 150,000 people?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this is kind of what gaming was leading up to. Because the way I see it with crossplay is I don't think it's now every game on each system is going to go over to the next one. I don't think that's going to happen. But what I do think is going to happen is that, yes, there will still be console exclusives, but for games that are on both Xbox One and PS4, and I guess
And PC.
and yeah, over on PC, we could actually see, like, I just see like the community of gamers no longer being separate to a degree. Like, people will finally be able to play with other friends who don't have a PS4 or an Xbox One, or they don't play on PC, but they have something else with the same game on it.
Yeah, games like Call of Duty and
And
Battlefield
that's
are...
also going in line with taking it to the next step. With platform gaming in general, or multiplayer. And for some reason, I wanted to say Markiplier.
Oh no!
But yeah, it's just like you have so many options that you could do with that, and for like a company to say like we'll be willing to listen, like hey, they're like saying like hey, that's a great idea. Like I'd be down with doing that. Like, you're competing with each other, but then you're willing to work together to make both of your companies successful, or even more successful than it already is.
Yeah, the one argument I've been hearing is that if a game that's supposed to be exclusive, well, this comes up with that exclusivity, because recently Quantum Break was announced to be released on PC as well, and people felt that it breaks the whole exclusive concept of a game. But it's a Microsoft product that's still being launched on. But even with games that aren't exclusive like that, like Call of Duty and Battlefield, why not let them play against other people? I mean, only time I could see a problem coming up is with some games like with the first-person shooters, because PC players are really... They have different hardware, like the mouse and keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time I can see a problem.
Yeah, because I guess reaction time would be the big thing.
Yeah, because on a mouse, you can have your mouse move so fast that you can do full 360s faster than you can on a controller. But it's stuff that would end up having to be worked out later on. But it is a start. Yeah. So we'll see where this goes.
I don't know. I think it's a great way to make the gaming community like an all exclusive thing, I guess. Yeah. To where it's like, it doesn't matter if your friend has an Xbox One and you have a PC or a PlayStation 4. Like, even if it's just like they still have their separate networks, but if they wanted to have like a trifecta network that combines all three that you log into to do that, then that's perfect. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's our thoughts on that.
I mean, it's still like, long from a decision on that. They don't even know if that's going to even happen. So true. It would be a cool consideration, but still got a whole lot of thought processing going into that play. So
yeah, it's definitely some ways away, but hopefully not too long a ways away. All right, that was Last Week in Gaming. So for our final discussion before we move on to the news, we're going to talk about Pokemon Go on the news segment called Dad App.
Dad App.
Yeah, man. So, Pokemon Go gameplay recently got leaked, and then even more recently, we got actual images of how it's going to work. But we're going to talk about the gameplay because the images are just images, which we will talk about, but not to as a more extent. So anyway.
And as a heads up, this will be linked to, not put in due to a content ID problem from the last video with Nintendo.
Yeah, we'll just have the link for you guys to check out. So I don't know if either of you have seen it, but the Pokemon Go gameplay looks good. I mean, it's about as close as we'll get to Pokemon in the real life, but who knows? We'll see it as it matures into what it's going to be.
Yeah, a friend of mine has been so excited for it. Even workers are talking about it like almost every month, really.
Dude,
like ever since they announced that they were going to start making it. Like, that's just crazy to me. It's just, even though, actually, I heard that this week coming up that they are doing test runs. Like, there's probably going to be leaked images of more gameplay, someone actually testing it, like in a field somewhere, just seeing how it works, and then they're probably going to put it maybe on Nintendo Direct, like as an exclusive.
I'd imagine so. Like they have to acknowledge it at some point on Nintendo Direct because it is a Nintendo game, so to speak. But yeah, I wish it was an open beta. I would be all over that in a hot second.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, people's phones are going to be overloaded with a whole bunch of stuff trying to get that stuff done.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine just getting Entei, like, only by going to the mountains? Like
you go to Mount Everest.
Awesome. The coolest part about it is it makes people travel.
Yeah, that's the cool thing. They've already said that certain Pokemon will be exclusive to certain areas and certain regions in certain countries. And that is totally okay with me. That makes the most perfect sense because that's exactly how it is in like the Pokemon games. You don't get every single Pokemon in every single region you go to every time there's a new generation. There's always going to be Pokemon that you can't get your hands on that you either have to use Pokemon Bank to move up with or you have someone trade with you over to the other game. So, I don't know. I think Pokemon Go is something amazing. But the gameplay for it showed off, I guess, someone trying to catch an Ivysaur. And what it looks like, I'm pretty sure that what they're using right now is just kind of like stock grass and building foot like imagery. Because it didn't look real. Like, it didn't look like a digital Pokemon, like a 3D rendered Pokemon in like, say, Central Park with like all the grass and stuff. But it looked good for what it was. But basically how they were going about catching the Ivysaur is they were moving their phone to like lock like a reticle with it and then throw a Pokeball at it. And so you see them throw the Pokeball and Ivysaur gets out. And then it's so funny because they show this like every time I've read an article about it, they're always like, really? So whoever's demonstrating it, they then go to a Master Ball and use a Master Ball on an Ivysaur. You just watch, you're like, what? That's such a
ridiculous.
waste. Yeah, it's a waste.
It's freaking awesome to me.
Oh yeah, it totally is.
I mean, I for one am really excited. Like, I would definitely recommend that even before it even comes out because you know it's going to be crazy good. It's just so much, so much processing going in with that, and I can only imagine like how not stressed, but like what their thought process is every time they go to bed, when they wake up. Like, okay, today I'm going to work on the coloring of the Pokeball and how it's going to look like a 3D effect when I throw it at a Pikachu, or like 7 o'clock tonight or something. I don't know. It's weird, but it's great.
It's amazing. This is the first step in making Pokemon as real as possible in the real world, and I don't know. I love Pokemon. I can't wait to get my hands on Pokemon Go and just go out and explore and find Pokemon and catch them and trade in them and battle them. It's going to be an amazing experience. But and this is where K-Meezy has to leave, unfortunately. So we're going to continue on, myself and Tech Ninja. But for now, K-Meezy is going to say bye, and he will be in another episode of Shogun Talk. So, see you later, buddy.
All right, till next time.
Later. All right, so let us continue on to the news. Man, that was not a good intro, but just play the stinger anyway.
Newsman!
Mm-hmm. All right, so first up on the news is Daisy Ridley. For those of you who don't know her real name, she is Ren from the Star Wars Episode 7, has been in talk for a Tomb Raider movie. How do you feel about that?
It kind of depends on what kind of Tomb Raider they do.
I'm guessing a young Tomb Raider. I'm guessing it'll be like in Rise of the Tomb Raider. Like, wasn't she relatively young then?
She's been young in all of the games.
No, but I mean, like
her age does not seem to differ much between.
I thought she was like a teenager or something.
No, she's an adult.
Oh.
So, if anything, they'd all be about the same age. It's just that in the older ones, she did unusually high backflips and dual-wielded pistols while shooting guys on skateboards. Yes, that did happen in the Tomb Raider games.
I know. Trust me.
But in the new ones, they're just a lot grittier, so...
I think it'll be cool. She looks like Lara Croft. Like, you look at her and you're like, yeah, I could see that.
Maybe, like, it kind of depends. Like, with Shia LaBeouf in that...
Boof.
Yes, thank you, LaBeouf. In the last Indiana Jones movie, he wasn't bad in it. It was just the scripting and plot was awkward.
I mean, let's be honest. You know, do we really need another indie movie? Even though we're getting another indie movie,
it's not the indie movie we wanted. It's any movie we're getting.
Yeah, it's reverse Batman. But I don't know. I think it'll be interesting because the last Tomb Raider movies were with Angelina Jolie, and I never saw those, but I think they were not particularly great movies. They were decent at best.
You know, I knew they existed, but I kind of put them out of my memory.
They're back there.
Yeah,
they're back again.
They're gonna stay in that back area. They're not coming out. It'll
be cool. I mean, I thought her performance in Force Awakens was good. I don't know what other movie she's been in. But
Potter's about that.
Yeah. But she seems to be a pretty good actress.
Oh, it's not her acting skills I question. It's always the writers.
Oh, totally. I mean, it doesn't matter how amazing of an actor you are. Just look at Ryan Reynolds in Wolverine Origins as Deadpool. And then look at him in the new Deadpool movie.
And look at him again in Green Lantern.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, no, they weren't his. It wasn't his fault.
Absolutely not.
But yeah.
Because, I mean, Ryan Reynolds is a great actor, but, man, it's like...
Whoever wrote Green Lantern, I hope was shot somewhere. At least in the foot, something.
Maybe. Well, I guess we'll have to find that out later. But, yeah, so, Daisy Ridley. I could totally see her as the Tomb Raider. Just shooting bows and arrows and kicking people in the face and off of mountains and such. Alright, so next up is BioWare's new IP that no one seemed to notice, even though dude was wearing a shirt with it at what was it, like a meeting or something?
I think it was one of the conventions that have gone on recently, but so one of the devs was wearing a shirt with their new IP, and unfortunately I don't even know what it is, because there's no picture of it, or at least none that I could find, but...
Oh, man,
if you find it, please let us know.
Yes, please. We need to know.
When no one noticed... They said, hey, no one knows their new IP, so you don't get to find out till E3.
Ugh.
So, yeah, we got 3 months remaining.
I wish someone had taken a picture of him. Just like... man. That is like...
It's kind of a slap in the face.
It really is. It feels like totally messed up. Oh, man. I mean...
I'm just going to double check just to make
sure. Yeah, definitely look. Because, I mean, anything BioWare is going to be good. So, there's no negativity there with BioWare. Except with Mass Effect 3, but, I mean, that was the fault of the writer who left. Who then came back when Mass Effect Andromeda started, and then left again to go work on Destiny. That's totally messed up. Why'd you do that?
Yeah, there's no image for it. There's a tweet about it, but that's about it.
Dang it. Oh, well. I guess we'll just have to wait until E3, unless someone breaks into that man's house and steals the shirt and posts it all over the internet.
At which point, we'd all just kind of wonder, dude, that's a little creepy.
It's a little excessive. All right. Next up is the Video Game Museum. Let me just find where it is. So I saw this on Kotaku, and my first thought was yes, because video games have been around for such a long time, so it makes sense that they get their own museum, right? Am I wrong?
I mean, it depends on what video games they're putting in there.
Everything. Like, I'm talking like, I think there was one that was like on a typewriter.
Oh.
Yeah, look at this.
That's a bit old.
Yeah, it's old. I mean, they've got... So it's in different stages, which is actually kind of cool. So stage 1, by the way, this is in... somewhere in Japan.
Of course it's in Japan.
Of course it's in Japan. Why wouldn't it be? But it's in Japan. The museum is called Game On. Why are video games so interesting? And so the first stage is the birth of play, computers, and the new entertainment. And so this is showing off like Pong, computer space, Space Wars. Next, stage 2 is arcade play, video game arcades, obviously. And here we see Space Invaders. You've got DDR, a lot of those motorbike racing games, the car racing games. You know, the things that made in the arcades like Pac-Man too.
Right.
Stage 3 is play patterns, the diversification and evolution of game design. And I don't even know what this is. Oh no, I do. It's called Steel Battalion. It's like this game that has like a huge controller with like giant joysticks and all these buttons and stuff.
I remember hearing about that once before.
Yeah, it's crazy looking. It's so cool looking. And it also shows like different cartridges. So you've got the Super Nintendo, the NES, N64, Game Boy Advance cartridges, the Famicom floppy disk, the UMD discs that were used on the PlayStation before the Vita came out.
PlayStation Go.
Yeah. Just all the things that they were putting video games on. Stage 4 is home play, the evolution of the console. And there's something here called the brown box prototype. I'm not entirely sure what that I guess it was just a Pong console. But here it shows off not entirely sure what it is. But here we have a Sega Genesis, a GameCube, an Xbox. Oh man, it's just so cool. I wish this was here. Stage 5 is ubiquitous play, handheld games and kids. And this is by far the craziest thing to look at. I mean, look at all those Game & Watches.
Yeah, that's a lot of them.
I know. Like, they're just Game & Watches. There's, like, these weird handhelds. There's Tamagotchis, like the mini arcade thingies. Oh, man, it's so crazy. Stage 6 is the art of play, music, image, and character design in video games. My favorite, the core Pokemon series. And, of course, with the Japanese boxes. There's the Dragon's Lair. Oh, excuse me. The Dragon's Lair cell color and key drawings. And then the finish cells. Which, man, that's so cool looking.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of older animation does take a while to get done. So, for those, it makes sense that it's something that you would end up seeing in a museum anyway.
Yeah. The Dragon's Lair thing is probably one of my favorites of these images because, man, Don Bluth, that's one dude. One dude. Like, I'm pretty sure he has like a whole studio now, but like back then it was just like probably him and like a few people.
And there's still that project to get a Dragon's Lair movie animated by Don Bluth.
I would love that so much. He is like, because he used to work at Disney, so you obviously see that like Disney flair in his drawings, but it's like so much better. I don't know why I think that. It just looks better. Here we've got like a lot of the GTA games.
Yeah, that's one game that's definitely progressed.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing the older games where everyone was so blocky and the water was so brick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bricks is a good word.
Yeah. So stage 7 is make and play indie games as platforms. So it doesn't really have anything to show. It's just, indie games. Stage 8 is collaborative play, communities, and multiplayer games. And, of course, as we know, one of the first multiplayer games, I believe, what is that? The Saturn, that's what it is. So it's showing Bomberman on the Saturn. And then there's something called the next stage, play in the future, games as reality as a game.
VR.
Not quite. They're showing off Gran Turismo 6 right here.
The realism games.
Yeah, the realism games. Oh, yes. And then they are showing off the PlayStation VR.
Yeah, I'm still kind of on edge about that.
Oh, here it is. It's called the Game On Exhibition and is in Mirakan in Tokyo. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, Miracon.
Yeah.
Some text that.
So it'll be going on until May 30th of this year. So, if you've got the spare money to fly all the way to Tokyo, go check it out, because I wish I could. Alright, next up, or I guess I should say last, hilariously enough, PlayStation VR details. What can you tell us about that?
It's going to cost $400. Now, if you already have a PS4, that's $400 less than if you didn't have one, so it's still up there. But
yeah.
It's a little easier to get into than the Oculus Rift, because the Oculus Rift, you need a $1,200 machine to run that, because that one needs such a high-end graphics card. But from what I remember reading, there are a few dev games that are coming out. Star Wars Battlefront, I believe, is one of the games that will be available on the VR.
That'll be cool.
Well, at least a Star Wars experience is what they refer to it as.
Star Wars experience.
It looked like Battlefront, so.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it is.
But then they also have about 30 titles that are coming out. I don't know what date they're all releasing on.
30?
They're all smaller titles. There's nothing big. But it is a start. So it's, like I said, it's a little easier to get into if you want to have a VR experience. But as for me, I'm not really all that interested in VR. I'm more interested in AR, so stuff like the HoloLens with augmented reality is what I'm more keen to look into. But like I said, $400 comes out in the next few months. If you're interested, give it a shot. If you have a PS4, then you're halfway there.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many VR things coming out right now.
Yeah, you've got the Oculus Rift, the Vive from HTC, the Samsung VR, Gear VR, and now the PlayStation VR. While the Oculus Rift and the Vive are kind of repetitive because they're both, console or PC VR.
Mm-hmm.
At least the Gear VR is a slightly different area and it's a lot less expensive. Because I don't know if you've checked on the price of the Oculus Rift, it's $600. Then you need your PC. And you can buy a bundle for $1,600. So $1,800, something like that.
Man.
But yeah, it's up there.
That is just too much.
Yeah.
Just too much. Yeah. All right, so that was the news. So, as for, I'm getting used to these stingers. That's the first one. So we're going to move on to the top 5.
What's top 5 this week?
The top 5 this week is top 5 things we would like to see in Mass Effect Andromeda. Because we now have a whole year to speculate on what's going to be in Mass Effect Andromeda, because thank you, writer, whose name I don't know, that left.
And editor.
And editor. You suck.
Well, they suck.
They suck, yes. Now we have to wait till 2017 because you left to go to Destiny. Thanks. I know. So, like I said, we got plenty of time to speculate because I don't want to do E3 speculation just yet. So we're going to do something that was probably going to be E3 that is going to be at the next E3.
It might still be this E3.
All right. So.
Well, one thing we do know is that it's supposed to take place in a different galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
With new enemies and the N7 program still.
Yes.
Being that's the case, I bet there's going to be a ship other than the Normandy.
Yeah, there will definitely be a ship. So that'll bring us to number 5, ship customization. Because, let's be honest, there really wasn't a lot going on with the ship. Like, you could walk around it, and talk to crewmates or whatever. And then when you're on, like, the galaxy map, you can move around and stuff. But what would be cool is if they had, like, space battles. And then you could actually customize your ship to where it suits to your needs. Like, do you want to be fast and be able to evade attacks while doing doing small bits of damage? Or do you want to be like this tank and take all these hits and dish out as much as you're taking?
Yeah, that'd be interesting plug for the game, because like you said, you didn't do much with the ships with any of the games. The first game, you knew you had a ship, and that's about it. You worked around it. The second game was essentially the same as the first. The third, but you did do some planetary probing.
Yeah.
But that wasn't even all that interesting.
Not really.
And you did make small adjustments to your ships, like getting better shields, all for that one mission that once you do it, well, that's the end of this.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, the third game is where they just introduced the movement around with the ship, so hopefully they do give you more freedom with that aspect that they just don't touch often.
I know. I mean, it's space. Like, it's a spaceship. Why wouldn't you want to customize that and make it awesome and have crazy space battles?
Yeah, so that kind of leads into the next thing that kind of you need to see are the enemies. So they didn't talk about them a whole lot. They did say what they were, and at this point I've forgotten because of how long it's been.
Yeah.
But what I'm hoping is that they aren't just like a rehash or redesign of the Geth and the Reaper enemies.
I mean, I don't think it'll be like a Geth at all because we know the Geth are now good.
Well, they're
so
not in this. Yeah, they're not in this galaxy. But the problem I've seen with a lot of games, and I'll use Halo and Destiny as an example, they're two different games, two different titles, two different IPs, but they're very similar.
Yeah.
With Halo, you had your grunts, you had your elites, you had your brutes. Destiny, one of the enemies, the Fallen, feels so much like the elite, the Covenant, that you just kind of go, did they just kind of get lazy and remap a few things? We'll just make a new design based off an old design? Because that's literally what it felt like to me.
Probably. I mean, I don't know. That's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you definitely want like a new like enemy, and you definitely don't want it to feel something similar to that what you've already fought, because we've already taken on the Geth, we've already taken on the Reapers
and the
Collectors. Like, that's all done and done with. You know, it's like, let's move on to something new, something totally different, with like a new object. Not, we're gonna take over the galaxy. Like, yeah, that could probably be the eventual goal, but let's make it something a little bit more interesting rather than we are going to take all humans and make them bend to our will, all alien life bend to our will. It's like, all right,
you've done this for 3 games.
Yeah,
please freshen up.
Let's move on. All right, so number 3, I guess we'll be rehashing number 5 a little bit. I would like to see more in-depth character customization.
Yeah, it's always nice changing your face, but other games like Skyrim, Fallout, Saints Row, you can make your character very different than someone else's, and having a different head.
Exactly. So the thing that I would like to see, especially in this one, because as far as we know, we don't really know if this is like another...
It's not Shepard, that's all.
We know it's not Shepard, so it looks like a human that they've shown off in like the CG trailers, but does it always have to be a human? Like, that's the thing that I was kind of always interested in, is like, why can't another race be the main character? Like, I get with Commander Shepard, like, they were in the first game, and obviously the game's core story revolved around that character. But right now, we really don't know what the story is. So why not have like this interchangeable character, like alien race or human race or whatever, and that be the main character? Like, we could have like a Krogan be the main character, or an Asari, Quarian,
whatever Morden's character was.
Oh, I forgot what they were.
Turians were another race.
Yeah, Turians.
Solarians. There we go.
Yeah, that's what it is. Solarians. Like, let's change it up, especially since, I mean, this is a rumor from a long time ago, but apparently they're introducing 2 new races to the universe, which I'm pretty sure there'll be more races.
Yeah, because it's a different galaxy.
Yeah, it's a different galaxy. Like, of course you're going to see Krogans, you're going to see Turians, you're going to see Asaris, you're going to see Solarians. What was Tali again? She was...
Quarian.
Oh, yeah, Quarian. I mean...
The Volus, they were interesting.
Yeah, you'll probably see the Volus. You'll probably see the... What's the other aliens? Start with a B.
Batarians.
Yeah, the Batarians. I mean, we're probably going to see them again, but let's have new races, and let's be able to play as those new races. You know?
Or at the very least, if you're going to be human, can I at least be that short, overly bulky man that just runs with a gun like, I'm a dwarf?
Yeah.
Or something. What are we looking at? Oh god, he shot my knee.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think a more in-depth customization would definitely be the right way to go. Much like Skyrim. All right. Let's move to number 2. And I think number 2 has to be planets.
Yeah.
More planets to go on to. Not to probe. Not to... Let me find this signal real quick. No, I want to be able to... I don't mean to explore every single planet. This isn't No Man's Sky. But I want to be able to...
At least look at them and
look at least, like, go to the surface. Probably, like, collect some stuff because I'm pretty sure they're not going to get rid of the... Collect 50,000 units of this so you can upgrade this.
But if they do that, just don't make it the Mako, or at least improve the Mako from Mass Effect 1.
Mm-hmm.
I hated driving that thing. Because it flipped over so much.
I don't even want, like, a drivable vehicle. Like, if I have the option to, yeah, sure. But for the most part, I'd rather just be, like, on foot, moving around. Like, why can't I go to, like, a city area and then I have, like, a chance to, or, I have the opportunity to go out and, like, explore, like, the alien planet and find materials and fight wildlife or enemies or whatever, you know?
Yeah, the original Mass Effect game did some of that pretty well, but yeah, the Mako is just not the greatest vehicle to use.
Yeah, I've seen the footage. I haven't played 1, I've played 2 and 3, but yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
All right, so number 1 has to be
plot. And with plot, it's not just, okay, so this is your objective, just the writing for it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because one problem that there have been in games, and I'll use one of the worst games that come out in the last few years, Right to Hell Retribution. Aside from that game being completely broken, the plot was not there. I mean, it was there, but it was so bad,
mm-hmm.
and the writing for it was terrible that it's forgettable.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I kind of forgot what the plot is, and I just watched something about it the other day. That's how bad it was. But the plot has to be something memorable, but the writing has to go with it properly as well. You can make a cool idea, but then all the characters sound like robots because their dialogue is to the effect, my name is X, who are you? I will kill you now. Bang.
Yeah.
Bang.
Not that Mass Effect was ever like that.
No, but it's something that kind of happens to any game, like Halo now. The first 3 were great. The 4th one was just kind of that we're running out of ideas. They have an idea for the 5th one, and it's just written so awkwardly that you kind of lose the story after a while.
Yeah.
And we're not talking Fallout story where here's your story, but there are 50,000 side missions for you to do, and you forget about it. But
yeah, I mean, God knows it wouldn't be a Mass Effect game without side missions. But like, my thing with plot is, I want the plot to be good, and I want it to fit into the Mass Effect universe, because we still really don't know where we're sitting right now in Mass Effect Andromeda. Like, my thought is we're probably going to be at a time after the effects of Mass Effect 3. And so then that brings in the whole question of, well, which storyline are you going to use for Mass Effect 3? I think they're going to do the one where all the races stay alive, which obviously is the one where Shepard becomes part of the Reapers and tells them to screw off and let's leave.
No, they didn't leave. They stayed and helped.
Oh.
They became part of society.
Right.
And personally, my theory would be, if with the backwards compatibility, hopefully Mass Effect 3 will become backwards compatible very shortly.
Do you really think they would do that?
They could. They don't necessarily have to import your character data, but at least the save data to get, well, here's where your story starts off with. And it could affect what powers and abilities you get. Because if you've chosen the world where you've integrated with all technology, then you can get more cyborg-based abilities. Or if you've destroyed all synthetics, you get more organic-based abilities.
Yeah.
Or if you're coexistent, you can get that middle ground.
Yeah, I could see that. Okay, what I mean by I can see that in, like, my dream brain. But I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, they have backwards compatibility now, but I don't know. I don't know why I don't see them using that. I think my thinking is that it would just probably be too much for them to like figure out how to go back onto a console older than the one that is, retrieve that data, and then edit the story in a way to where, oh, you chose this one? All right, there you go. I feel like they've been pretty like straight on with the stories. Like every time you go to a new game, it's like there are things that are affected by your decisions, but for the most part, the main storyline is the same.
Well, it wouldn't necessarily have to affect the storyline, just certain things, certain unlockables. And it's not really that hard because with the backwards compatibility, it's an emulator.
Yeah.
You can just boot up the emulator, pull a save file, and shut it off right then.
True.
And it's only a one-time run as well.
I don't know. I don't know. I would hope that they're that smart to do something like that, but I can't really bank on them being that smart to do something like that.
At the same time, I'm trying to think back to the trailer, but I think they mentioned that it's completely unrelated to the events of the Mass Effect series anyway, so it could just be entirely irrelevant as to what happened there. But we'd have to go review the trailer to confirm that part.
Yeah, I couldn't see that. I feel like, because they've talked about Andromeda in the Mass Effect trilogy. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I don't actually think they did.
Really?
Yeah, this is something really new.
I feel like they talked about the Andromeda system.
No, I think they may have mentioned it was there, but nothing really, like, we've been there, we're going to go there.
No, I don't mean that. I just feel like they mentioned a couple things about it. I may be wrong. I may be entirely wrong, but I could have swore that someone or some people say something about Andromeda. But I really don't see them not... When you say unrelated, I think, like, I don't think we're going to be playing, like, oh, this is Shepard's son or daughter or someone they trained. Like,
no, I don't mean, like, related to the character. I mean, like, whatever happened in this game, in the first trilogy, has no effect on it at all.
I don't feel like that'll happen.
Yeah, I'm going to go look this up right now, because I really don't... I don't think they were tying it together now that I think about it.
I don't know. That feels wrong to me.
It does and it doesn't.
Well, okay, why not?
Why doesn't it feel wrong?
Yeah.
It's the easy way to get out of an older game. Because it's a different... You've written this game, you've moved on from there. It's been several years. On top of the technology having completely changed with, like, what platform it's on, it's easier to walk away from something but still use that same universe. It's not done...
I don't know. I feel like...
Okay, here. It takes long after the events of the first 3 years.
Okay.
So this is going to be probably decades at least.
All right.
So my original theory of using your save data to at least give you certain unlockables could still play.
Yeah, unless, of course, we don't know how long this is, that synthetics could be back. And so it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, it could... Like I said, it's a cop-out either way.
Yeah, I mean... They could either do it that way because there aren't that many synthetics left, or synthetics that they've created again, or they could just do the whatever, everyone coexists peacefully, and they have it to where, you know, everyone lives except Shepard.
Yeah. Well, no, technically there's an ending where Shepard didn't die.
Yeah.
So they could find a weird copper like he's alive and dead. Stop.
I mean... Unless they do it to where, like, he temporarily became a Reaper and then went back to his human body. It's like, what?
No, it's a Reaper. They may have the tech.
That's true. Well, hopefully these things come to fruition in Mass Effect Andromeda. I don't know. I want something. I've been waiting for this for so long. It just keeps getting delayed. It makes me upset. Oh, well. Well, that was the top 5. So, lastly, as you all know, we're going to do the random Reddit. What is the random Reddit for this Shogun Talk?
It is Arkeming. And I'm not saying that wrong because when it's typed out, you are typing in Keming. But it's supposed to be kerning. And if you get the joke, I'm not going to really explain it. Just a few pictures that will come up afterwards will give you a better idea as to where things like art is anal cheese. If you can get that joke, please mention in the comment.
All right.
Please.
Well, to those who don't get the joke, what is kerning?
It's space in between letters.
Mm-hmm. And what happens when the space in between letters isn't properly spaced?
Artisanal cheese.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Basically, all these products have either slightly off spacing or entirely bad spacing to where the person who made it should probably be fired.
I mean, if you go to a therapist, you don't want to go to the rapist.
Yeah, or the rapies.
Oh, God, the rapies. And if you want artisanal cheese, you really hope it's artisanal, not art is anal cheese.
Oh, man.
I'm going to keep applying this joke until someone, finally says, oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, I get it now. Well, that was a random Reddit. And that is Shogun Talk. So, man, that was a good one.
Yeah, I'm just going to do what everyone else does on YouTube to see if that works. Like, comment, subscribe.
Please.
Pretty please.
Yes. All right. And we will see you next time on The Shogun Show. Once again, I'm Vandalus.
I'm Alright Tech Ninja.
Yes, thank you. This has
now.
been Shogun Talk. Stay swifty. Hello, and I'm glad you stayed for the end slate. I haven't done one of these yet, so I'm just rambling at this point. Thanks for checking this video out, and if you'd like to see other videos, well, we have one of the previous Shogun Talk. Well, I guess Shogun Talk number 3 up there for you to view, and I guess one of our older videos that I really don't want anyone to see, but they're there on the channel, so you can probably just scroll down and look at it. I just want to say thanks for anyone who sticks around for these and listens, and I don't know, it's something we enjoy doing, and I don't know, I really like doing Shogun Talk, and eventually we'll have Shogun show up here. So I hope you enjoy listening to us ramble on about video games and movies and whatnot. So yeah, go ahead, check out the videos, and like Tech Ninja said earlier, like, comment, subscribe, and also share this with peeps so that they can check us out. Alright, see ya.